Okay, so hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to talk about my struggles with university. I think it's something that we don't talk about enough, that people struggle with their studies, and something that can be a real, when the mental health, it can have several effects. Now, I think looking at it, this will be a short video, but I just want to sort of explain sort of how you can be missed in the system with your struggles, and how it's not always for everyone. I think for me, I'd never thought when I left school that I'd go on to do further education. I've done two lots of further education before the university course, and then being offered to do this, course. Of course, I jumped at the fact a university foundation degree, it would be the sort of step up from what I've got in a minute. So I think it's important to say I've always had struggles. I struggled in primary with certain things, but generally was all right, did quite well, was always towards the top at that age, generally quite intelligent, but quite reserved, and I tried my best to be social, and obviously now I know that's linked to my autism, but at the time I was sort of, that kind of thing. So we've got that there. I had that sort of thing. So I've always had struggles, but with my work and focusing, not so much at that point. I think there were times, but very, very rarely, so it wasn't really noticed. I think when I started getting to secondary school, again, because I was, how do I put it? I never wanted to do anything wrong or anything bad. And I didn't ever want to seem difficult or misbehave or anything like that. I didn't do that. I was the goody two-shoes, particularly, even more so at secondary school. So I was always studying, I was always trying to learn, I was always doing work on my own, and if I was struggling, I would just struggle, generally, which I know is a bad trait. I know it's something that's quite bad. Eventually did start asking, maybe as I got into my GCSEs, did start asking teachers for extra work, extra support. But even myself or the teachers didn't pick up on the fact that I may actually need more support, as in an extra person, an extra time on exams or anything. None of that was ever picked up at school. So I've always struggled my way through. I think my GCSEs, I think I openly admit, studying was daunting. Probably didn't study as much as I needed to. Now, I'm not going to say that's down to my autism on the studying bit, but I definitely think that my struggles in exams is, because I've not just struggled in those exams. Any sort of exams I've had, I've always struggled with. The driving theory test, for example, I really, really struggle with. Now I know all the topics. I've done several tests with friends, and people ask me the questions. I can answer them like that, but I cannot do it in an exam hall or in the exam situation. So I'm trying to understand why that is, and now I'll go through how I'm going through a process at the minute for that. But to never have had that support, not to have had the extra support, I think it's been difficult. It's been really, really difficult. And I think my struggles have sort of always been there. I think when I went to college, straight after school, I actually dropped out after 6 months because there wasn't any extra support. I was struggling. I didn't know what to do. My mental health wasn't in a good place. And back then in 2016, I'm not saying it's any fault. It wasn't a fault of the college necessarily, but there wasn't really much support in terms of extra work. It was all that you're left to do on your own. There was no mental health, not to the degree there is now, where you've got support from various different things. So there wasn't really that there. I really sort of struggled with that, and I think, I dropped out after 6 months because of all those things sort of capitulating, and I didn't get on with certain people on my course. They changed elements of the course. Now I know that's now that I'm older, I know that's linked to my autism. You tell me it's going to involve coaching elements, and then you take the coaching elements out. Like little routine, that's quite a big routine change. That's quite a big part that I was looking forward to that you've taken away. Now, of course, that's down to the government. That's not down to the provider I had, but the experience there was a bad one. And I sort of stayed out of education until I was 18. I then got offered a role to do an apprenticeship within the industry that I wanted. I accepted the apprenticeship, and I went through the study again. Now, this study benefited me because it was studying your own time. It was a part of the agreement with the workplace that I had to do 1 day a week in college and half day a week either in the workplace's office or at home, adding to my studies and sort of really building on my knowledge. And it was all sort of like coursework based, so it sort of really played to my strengths, sort of really supported me. And again, I would never have got extra help there. Now, this is, the company that I was working for put me through the course 4 months after everybody else. So I was always playing catch up, but eventually I was ahead of them all because the coursework and the time being given and dedicated. And if that time I had, the tutor had a work phone, I could contact that tutor at any time and sort of go through what I was struggling with and my sort of issues on it, which was very rare because it was coursework. And I don't know how to explain it, but I could lean in on my experience of coaching at that point. It was a couple of years through voluntary and etc. I could lean into the people that I was working with in the office. Like part of the course was actually asking them sort of things and how they dealt with certain situations. So that sort of really benefited me. And also, like I say, the support was a little bit better, but it was also coursework, so I didn't feel any pressure. There was no deadlines, there was none of that. Now, I'll explain later how that's all changed and how if I was to do that same course again, I'd probably fail it because it now all involves those deadlines. Those, you got like 2 weeks to complete something, whilst also studying for it at the same time. Like, it's not realistic in my eyes. For the way I process information for a start, it takes me a while to process things and really understand them, and I have to go deep dive into it. And I think that's not really understood, and I want to understand it to the best of my ability. I don't think that's understood in the way that it should be. I would also like to discuss, I passed that course, flying colours, everyone was very encouraged. I then took another year out, maybe another 2. Yeah, another 2 years, because it started 2020. It was a couple of months before the pandemic. I went on to the next level. I went on to a teaching sort of course, which was sort of the level 3. So again, the next level up, sort of like a traineeship, if you like. It was about 6 weeks long. So I've gone up to that next level. I'm studying the level 3 in coaching, and then I'm level 3, I think, off the top of my head, in coaching and stuff like that. That was alongside part of a course over here, which was so you've got the coaching element, if you like, and then you've got the supporting teaching and learning element. Now, again, there were deadlines, but they weren't really deadlines, if you know what I mean. Like, it was, we'll sit down and go through this in class, which the majority of your knowledge and your information would be written down, and then you'd have to summarise it in your own words and put it together into a workbook, that kind of thing. So, like, again, playing into my strengths in my studies and sort of helping me develop and shape, and also, the support was there. Again, the tutor had a work phone, could contact her at any time, go through the work, and I think that was always very, very, very beneficial. Now, I think there are struggles, particularly with studying anyway, but I generally found that course quite good, quite beneficial. And I think, again, those 2 courses that I did had very, very good tutors. And, I'm not saying that I didn't previously, but I think as education's changed, support networks have changed. The one thing that going into this university course, obviously by that point I would have had a 3-year gap by the time I come onto this course. So a massive gap, really, when you think about it in terms of studying and things like that. So it was a struggle, a real struggle to adapt and sort of understand. And I think when this now whole thing that his courses are completely changed, this level, like this deadlines, you've got like 2 weeks. So you're studying, but during that time, you're not allowed to actually start on the assignment. and then you've got 2 weeks to do it. And by that time, I've processed a lot of information. Like, it's going to take me time to do it, and it's longer than 2 weeks. And I think, like, I've done all right in certain elements, and I've done all right in certain areas, but like little things, like I've got an assignment due, which this college completely messed up on. And this is, they have admitted this to me, they've messed up on it. They said I didn't have to do this assignment. I was okay because all my others were fantastic. And then they tell me literally the last day of term that I've got this assignment to do, and no support with it. So I think that's another thing. Now, I'm not blaming anybody for that. I think, these things happen, but yeah, it's incredibly difficult for me. It's stressful, put me in a poor place of mental health at times, and I think it's not talked about enough, that it is a difficult thing, and look, I know people are going to want to say and stir it up and go, well, you knew. The simple answer is I did not know, and I think, anyway. But yeah, I've really struggled with the course, with university, the deadlines, the more in-depth writing, the referencing I kind of get, but I still forget it because I'm all about my points and why I believe that links to this, and sort of, that's the way my brain works. Like, I picture why something links to this, the knowledge is there, so this means this, but then I forget to back it up quite a lot. And my grades will go down because of that, or I use the incorrect reference when I'm just trying my best. Now, I get that last part of the course, and I get that's what they want, but it's incredibly frustrating. And it's incredibly frustrating, incredibly difficult, and I think there's not enough support out there when you are struggling. I don't think there is, and I had to fight the entire of my first year to start looking at support, and that's a shame. Like, I think I don't put it on the college, I put it on the system as a whole, because, like I say, it's just, all the other places I didn't really have it, and I now know, they put me through a private thing. I now know that I should have had a one-to-one tutor, I should have had extra time, all these things that I'm now finding out I should have, and in the process of getting, but it just shows like that the whole system, I've been missed the whole way through, and that has an effect on my university course and my university studying and my coursework and everything. It's like, it's all coming one go. Like, I've got my autism assessment final autism assessment finally coming up sometime this year, potentially, according to the last letter I have. I've got, I've had the private autism assessment to get this support. Private autism assessment that the college paid for to verify that I had autism, which, by the way, came back saying I do. No surprise there. And then the private assessment to see that you need the support. And basically, they were sort of linked. But yeah, so the private assessment says I have autism. Like I said, no surprise. And then there was also the basically what support I need. So I need about, and all the things they're going to give me. I should have had a one-on-one tutor, extra time, help with, so if I'm struggling to process something, there should be someone there to help me process it, a system or a way that helps and supports me take notes, maybe, and things like that. And it's all a little bit difficult. It's all a little bit new to me, and I'm sort of going through that. But again, that support's still not come through. And this assignment that I'm supposed to be doing is due in a couple of days, so I still not had the help that I've been told I need to have. And it's no one's fault. Like, it is come at a terrible time. It's come in the summer, but it is a struggle. And I think the stress, and when I'm stressing, I put something off. I'll admit that. That's something that I said in my assessment, so they are aware, they do know, but it is very, very difficult, and mentally it puts you in a bad place, and you stress, and naturally that all builds up, and that creates a negative energy, and then has the opposite effect. So if I'm looking at you and I keep stressing, I'm worried, and you're the person I'm trying to study, you're the thing I'm trying to study on, what then happens is I lose focus, and I then stress about losing focus and all of that. So there's all of that in there, and I'm great that they've said support, like my laptop isn't good enough to run the new systems that they want me to go through. There's things like that, so a new laptop would have to come through, headphones to help within assignments and things like that, so I can read or speak into what I'm thinking and the way I'm thinking it, and it'll write it out for me, little softwares like that, and that's all coming through, and that's brilliant, and that's fantastic that I've finally been noticed that I need that support. And that's brilliant, and I have to say the college and my tutor and everyone there has been so supportive and brilliant, and the people who deal with the assessment, the lady who did my autism assessment and then followed it up with the support assessment, fantastic, very, very good, very, very supportive, and I have to say I feel very supported in that element. It's just disappointing that I've gone through years and years and years of sort of being missed by the system, and then the system, when it has been noticed, it is quite slow, but I can't speak highly enough of the support that is there, and that I know I need this extra help, and this extra help is coming, so hopefully that's sort of taken into account with this assignment that's coming up. They'll give me the extension on it, because they'll say, oh well, it's taking us longer to get things in place and things like that. But I really just wanted to speak through it's new to me. I've never done this type of content on YouTube, and I don't want to get in trouble, I don't want to seem negative, and I know other people have had similar experiences because I've seen it, like from people like yourselves probably on YouTube who have had that discussion, got in front of a camera and said, no, I am struggling, I do struggle. My struggles with the university system is the deadlines, you're sort of expected to do everything yourself, and that's just the system, that's not the fault of the tutors, because like I say, mine have been bloody brilliant. And finally, my tutor put me forward for this assessment and for all this, to give me the support which I'd never had, and I'm still emotional thinking that this is all coming through. Finally, really. So I want to thank him, I want to thank everyone at, I'm not going to name it, but the university that I attend. I want to thank everyone who's involved with the course and the support you've given me. It's been absolutely fantastic, it really is, and hopefully this support comes through and it really sort of helps me out. But here, it was just a little video to talk about my struggles with university and I suppose education the whole way through, and being missed, and sort of the effects that's had on myself and my mental health. And I hope that this video doesn't get me in trouble. I hope this video helps other people realise that it's okay. One, it's okay to struggle, and two, that the more that people like us do struggle, the more likely the system is to change. And like I say, it is slowly changing for me, and I'm not quite sure fully what that looks like, but it's coming through. So hopefully it does, and hopefully that change is a positive one, and one that really helps me, and I can go places in my education. I don't end up doing what I did a couple of years ago, like I mentioned, and having to leave because I don't get that support, and I feel like I'm struggling, but it doesn't feel like I'm going to be like that. So I just wanted to sort of go through that, and I hope that this video and being open and honest helps yourselves or other people that you know through this, and sort of to say, from myself, it is okay to struggle, it is okay to ask for the help, it is okay to ask for the support. Yes, it takes a while to go through this support system in retrospect, but it's actually not that slow. Like, I mean, it was a couple of weeks ago I had the phone call, then it was this, and like it's all gone through. Like, it's pretty quick in that sense. Like, it's going to take a month or two, and by the time it's complete, it would have taken 2-3 months, which is quick. It is quick, but it's the getting there that makes it feel really long. So yeah, sorry, I realise this video has gone on for a little longer than I expected, so please let me know your experiences down in the comment section. Please either show your love and your support, or if you think I'm wrong, I may disagree with you, but I'd like to see why you think I'm wrong. Or if you are someone who is in the support sector, maybe you want to say, you know, I understand, and you know, students are being let down and throughout the system, and then they get into the older stages where they're trying to study and they're struggling. You know, this is a pattern that we're noticing now. Yeah, and let me know what you think anyway. I appreciate you tuning into my channel. Sorry for it to be a bit of a dampening one. I know that that's not the tone that I normally go with, but I thought I'd just use my platform now to sort of talk about my struggles with university and I suppose education as a whole. And yeah, just sort of talk it through really, and say, yeah, sort of talk it through really, and say that it is okay to struggle, and it is okay to ask for the support, and it is hopefully it will come through for you. So yeah, so yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please also like, share and subscribe to my channel, and thank you very much for watching.